Lewis Hamilton is experiencing his most intense season in Formula One. Those were the words of the seven-time world champion when assessing his debut at Ferrari. But is the most anticipated change in recent years really proving to be a success? What is happening behind the scenes at Maranello that has made Hamilton admit he needs to cry to release the pressure? The answer goes far beyond what you might imagine and could reveal a crisis even greater than it appears. When Lewis Hamilton announced his move to Ferrari at the end of 2024, the world of Formula One came to a standstill. After 12 years with Mercedes, where he won 6 of his 7 world titles, the Briton decided to fulfill his childhood dream of driving for the most traditional team on the grid. Expectations were huge. Fans around the world imagined Hamilton and Charles Leclerc forming the most powerful duo in the category, capable of overthrowing the dominance of Max Verstappen and Red Bull. The specialist press was already talking about a new golden era for Ferrari, with the most experienced driver on the grid finally having the chance to win his 8th world title wearing red. But the reality has proven to be quite different from what many expected. In his own words, Hamilton revealed that this has been his most intense season, not only because of the races, but mainly because of the pressure of integrating into a new work culture. The driver was straightforward in admitting that not everything went as planned. The adaptation has not been smooth in all areas and has been a real battle. This brutal honesty raises an important question. Was Ferrari really prepared to welcome a driver of Hamilton's caliber? The numbers tell an interesting and worrying story. Hamilton scored his first sprint race victory for Ferrari in China, an exciting moment that showed the potential of the partnership and made millions of tifosi around the world dream of better days. However, his best result in main races was a 4th place, achieved at Imola, Austria, and Silverstone. For a driver accustomed to fighting for victories on a regular basis, these results may explain some of the frustration he has been feeling. When we compare this to his last season at Mercedes, where even with an inferior car he managed 2 victories, the difference is striking. What stands out most in Hamilton's statements is the brutal honesty with which he assesses the situation. We rarely see a driver of his caliber publicly admit that he needs to step away, recharge his batteries, and even cry to process all the pressure. This shows how challenging the move to Ferrari has been, not only from a technical standpoint, but mainly from an emotional and psychological one. Hamilton has always been known for his mental strength, so when he talks about tears and the need to recharge, we know that the situation is really serious. But let's go beyond the words and analyze what may really be happening behind the scenes at Maranello. Ferrari has always been known for its passion and intensity, characteristics that can be both inspiring and overwhelming. Hamilton, at 40, is facing the challenge of adapting to a new work philosophy, new procedures, new teammates, and a different kind of pressure than he knew at Mercedes. The tifosi, Ferrari's fan base, are passionate but also extremely demanding, and this certainly adds an extra layer of responsibility. In addition, there is the issue of the Italian language, different working methods, and the Italian corporate culture itself, which is notoriously different from the German culture Hamilton knew at Mercedes. The internal pressure at Ferrari cannot be underestimated either. The Italian team has not won a Drivers' World Championship since 2007, with Kimi Räikkönen, and Hamilton's arrival was seen as the last chance to break this almost 2-decade curse. Imagine the weight that puts on the shoulders of a driver, even if he is a 7-time world champion. Every race without a podium finish, every missed opportunity, every extra 1/10 of a second on the clock is amplified by the Italian media and the expectations of millions of fans around the world. But Hamilton has also made it clear that his passion for the Ferrari project remains intact. He spoke about the love he feels when wearing red, about his belief in the team, and about his desire to contribute both on and off the track. This statement is crucial because it shows that, despite the difficulties, the driver does not regret his choice. In fact, this may be exactly the mental attitude he needs to overcome the current obstacles. Hamilton has always been a driver who thrives in adversity, and perhaps this is another opportunity for him to prove his greatness. The summer break comes at a crucial time. Hamilton needs this break not only to rest physically, but mainly to process emotionally everything he has been through. He himself admitted that he wants to spend time with his children, laugh, relax, and even allow himself to cry if necessary. This vulnerability is impressive coming from one of the greatest champions in history. It shows that behind the helmet and red jumpsuit, there is a human being dealing with enormous pressure and almost impossible expectations. The second half of the season will be decisive in determining whether Hamilton's move to Ferrari was really the right one. The Italian team needs to give him a more competitive car, while the driver needs to continue adapting to new challenges. The pressure will be even greater, especially with constant comparisons to his performance at Mercedes and the results of drivers such as Max Verstappen, who continues to dominate at Red Bull. There is also the Charles Leclerc factor, who has been consistently faster than Hamilton in the first half of the season. This adds extra pressure, as Hamilton is not used to being the second driver on a team. Throughout his career, even when he had strong teammates such as Fernando Alonso, Nico Rosberg, or Valtteri Bottas, Hamilton always managed to come out on top. Seeing Leclerc ahead of him on a regular basis must be a blow to any driver's ego, especially for someone with Hamilton's track record. The question remains, at 40, does Hamilton still have the ability to completely reinvent himself? Modern Formula One is ruthless, and the difference between success and failure often lies in microscopic details. Hamilton is facing not only the pressure of driving for Ferrari, but also the challenge of proving that he can still compete at the highest level against younger drivers in more competitive cars. What we see here is much more than just a driver changing teams. It is one of the biggest names in Formula One, facing perhaps the biggest challenge of his career. Hamilton is proving that even the best athletes in the world experience moments of vulnerability and doubt. The question is, will he be able to overcome these difficulties and make history once again with Ferrari? The answer could define not only the future of his career, but also the direction of the Italian team in the coming years. One thing is certain, the second half of the season will be crucial in determining whether we are witnessing the rebirth of a legend or the beginning of the end of one of the greatest careers in motorsport history. Do you think Hamilton will be able to adapt completely to Ferrari and get back in the fight for titles? Leave your opinion in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any Formula One news.